Magwa, Pandiwa, Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Blessing of the Sabbath. Brother Daniel, read everything. Barakatha Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shay Asheray Nathan Lanawe Ashabat Bashalawam the water Aman. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it. The Aliyah Ma'ah Shariah Machat, Psalms 121. Anye Harayim Mayim Ye Oh Harim Mayan Yabawa Zariye Yabawa Mayahawe Shashab Shemayim Waratazer La Yanathan Lamawat Ragalia Yela Yanawam Shashua Marka Hanela Yanawam Wala Yeshan Shashua Mar Yeshrilib Yehowah Shemaria Yehowah Tazalib Ayo Ya Yim Yed Yawomam Hashemash La Hakaya Wayarak La Balayala Yahweh Yashamaria Makab Rai Yashama Napasha Yahweh Yashama Habalakya Wabawaya my third will aid I will Basham Yahweh the water man.
Psalms 121. I will lift my eyes unto the hills, where cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. he that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going in, going out, and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Shema Yasharallah, Hero of Israel. Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad.
Hear ye, O Israel.
I'll call it and read it.
Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Hear ye, O Israel. Our God is one Lord. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love.
I'm gonna say Amen after the verse.
Amen.
Amen. So Thapala Yahweh, the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 and 9. Abinawe Shabbat Shemayim Kodash Hayye Shamke Yahuwah Malakwake Taba'e Ratazawanke Hayye Aisha Barataze Ka Bashemayim Matamanawa Lacham Yawam Zad wasalak nawa kabawak nawa kasalak nawa kabawak yanawa wala abiyar nawa oh nasayawan abo hawashai nawa marag kaye laka hamalakwa wa ala wa thaparak wa walam man.
Matthew 6 and 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. From this time. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Aishara Matazawaf, the Ten Commandments. Exodus 20 and 3. La'ad Yahayat Lakad Alahayim Akharim Alpanyat La'ad Thaishad Lakad Paso Wala'ad Thaibadam La'ad Talakwakaf Shamwa Yahweh Alahayaka Lashawat Zakhar Ath Ayawam Hashabath La Kodashwa Kabad Abiyaka Wa Amaka La'ad Taratazak La'ad Tana'at La'ad Taganab La'ad Thainad Shakur La'ad Thachamat, Ko, Asherat, Lara'ika, Aman.
Exodus 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make me any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I am the Lord thy God, and I am a jealous God, visiting iniquities on the fathers, upon the children, upon the third and fourth generation, for them that hate me, and showing mercy for thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God, thy God, Lord God, in vain, for the Lord will not hold them blameless.
Mm-mm.
Thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold them blameless.
Mm-mm. Not blameless.
Thou shalt not take the Lord, the name of the Lord in vain, for the Lord will not hold him blameless,
Mm-mm.
guiltless,
There you go.
that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. For the seventh day, the Sabbath the Lord thy God. And if thou shalt not do any work, thou shalt not, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. For 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, all that is in them is rest. Rest the sea, rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Amen.
It's 10. Yeah, it's 10. It's 10 of them.
For the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all them is rested.
That's all that in them is. It's kind of funny because it's Old English.
And rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother. The days may be long upon the earth which the Lord hath given thee.
Read that again.
Okay. Honor the mother and thy father, that the day may be long, that the days may be long upon the earth.
That's not earth, land.
Land which God has given thee.
That's the Lord thy God. Just the
upon the earth which the Lord thy God has given thee.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his manservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
That's the last one. Just say Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yeshabah, be seated. Yeah, just just take your time, don't rush. Makes it easier. Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathananawa, Parya, Gapin, Thwada, Aman. La Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Af, Yasher Allah. English translation, blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it. To Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, with Israel. And my Magua, upon you, Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Barakatha Yahweh, Haggadah, Rakawam, Abiyah, Wanawa Aliyawan, Malak, Shal, Shamayim, Warataza, Wakal, Dabarium, Kayayam, Wagam, Hamashiach, Mayahawe, Harawanawe, Ahabnawe, Hapalai, Yawa Aitaze, Yahawashai, Zakarnawe, Yahawe, Bartazawan, Ainke, Yasha'ala, Azarnawe, Banai, Wasap, Yasha'ala, Al Nanawe, Yam Yan, Aitha, Kayawamyam, Makwadam, Babakushay Shalak, Mike Allah, Watazawadak, Alahayam, La Maganawa, Raparnawa, Washamab, Ilnawa, Bakur Shalak, Haroka, Shal, Yahweh, Lanawa, Alamadnawa, Rabiam, Kakamay, Tabawana, Wada Show the Barker Basham Yahweh the Water from Yad Why Willam Maman. English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth and all things living, and also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor, Yahweh Shai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably your people Israel. Help us build and gather Israel, Most High, we beg you, right now, like the days of old. Please send Michael and the righteous powers to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahweh Shai to us, to teach us much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, always and forever, so be it. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law. Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathan Lanawa, Hathawarat. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us light to see. Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathan Lanawa, Awar, Lara Awat. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people. Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathan Lanawa, Karan, Ha'ayot, La Korah, Ha'aim. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathan Lanawa, Hasheman, Zayef, Lamashak, Yasha'ala. Yeshabwa, be seated. So shalom everybody here in Philly School. Shalom everybody watching us on live stream, and shalom everybody listening on teleconference. Welcome to Ha Yashar al Kanas, or the Congregation of Israel, where we teach that the so-called Black, Latin, and Native Americans are indeed the 12 tribes of Israel, and that we fall into a lower state politically, economically, even religiously, because we broke the laws of God found in the Bible given to us by Moses. That we come out of this lower state we fall into, returning back to these commandments we broke by following Jesus Christ. So today we keep the Sabbath day holy, as we read in the beginning prayers. 6 days shall we labor and do all our work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath, the Lord our God. And as regularly scheduled, we go through a Sabbath service, Lord willing. Today's Sabbath service is going to be in the Old Testament again, Leviticus chapter 23 and 24. Once again, Leviticus 23 and 24 is going to be our reading for today. My name is Nabiab Zerubbabel. I'll be doing the service today. For your notes, you can just put that according to the Gregorian calendar, May 26, 2018. And according to our calendar, today is the third month and the 12th day. So let's start off with Leviticus 23 by Bar Ra'ash, or in the Hebrew first. You have it? Okay. So Leviticus 23 and 1 reads, Waya Dabar Yahweh all Masha La Amar. Verse 2. Dabar al Banya Yasharala wa Amarath Alham Mawa'id Ya Yahweh Asherah Thakorawa Atam Makoriaya Kodash Oha Ham Mawa'idya. 3. Shashath Yamyam Ta'aisha Mala'aka wa ba Yawam ha Shabayaya Shabbath Shabathanwa Makora Kodash Ko Mala'aka La'a Ba'aishwa Shabbath Hawa'a La Yahweh Bakal Mawashabath Yakam. 4. Oha Mawa'idya Yahweh Makoraya Kodash Asherah Thakorawa Atam Ma Salak Ba Mawa'id Ma. Their seasons. 5. Ba Chadash Ha Ra'ashwan Ba Arabaiha Aishar La Chadash Banya Ha Arabian Pasak La Yahweh. 6. Wa Ba Kamasha Aishar Yawam La Chadash Za Chag Ha Matazawath La Yahweh Shaba'ith Yamyam Matazawath Tha'akolwa. 7. Ba Yawam Ha Ra'ashwan Makora Kodash Yahweh Lakam Kol Malakath rather Ibadha, or rather Ibadha La'a the Aishwa. 8. Waka Waka Korathum Asha La Yahweh Shaba'ith Yam Yam Ba Yawam Ha Shabayaya Makura Kodash Kol Mala Akath Ibadha La'a Ta'ishwa 9. Waya Dabar Yahweh Al Masha La Mar 10. Dabar Al Banya Yasharala Wa Amartha Alham Thaba'awa Ol Harataza Ashara Anya Nathan Lakam Wa Quataza Ratham Af Quataza Yara Wa Haba Af Haba Af Ma rather Wa Haba Atham Af Amar Ra'asheth Quataza Yarkam Ol Hakahan 11. Wahanayap Af Ha'imar Lapanya Yahweh La Ratazankam Ma Macharath Ha Shabbath Yan Yap Nawa Ha Kahan 12. Wa'ishiath Ma Ba Yawam Hanayapkam Af Ha Imar Kabash Thamyam Bun Shanath Wa La'ila La Yahweh. Yeah, Thamyam, that's the Thummim. And they say in English, it says without blemish in English. It says Thummim. So it's like perfect. Like the Urim and the Thummim, which means lights and perfection. So 13, it says Wa Manakathwa Shanya Aisharanyam Salath Ba Layala Salat Ba Lawala Ba Shaman Asha La Yahweh Rayak Nayachak Ha Nasakha Yayan Rabba Ya'ai Salak Rabba Ya'aif Ha Hayan 14. Walakam Wakolia Wakaramal La'a Thakowa Aid Aitizam Ha Yawam Haza Aid Ha Baya Akam Af KorabanElyakam Kakwath Wa Ailam Salat Wa Ailan La Darathyakum Bako Ma Shaba Salat Ma Shabathyakum 15. Wa Sapartham Lakam Ma Karath Ha Shabath Ma Yawam Ha Baya Salat Ha Baya Akam Af Aimar Ba Ha Thanawap Ha Shabai Shabathwath Thamya Salat Thamyam Thamyamath or Thamyamtha perfect ones, or those without blemish. Thumb Yamath, Tha Ha Yayan, Ha, Tha Ha Yayan Ha. 16. Aid, Mamakarath, Ha Shabbath, Ha Shabaya'ith, Tha Saparwa, Kamashami, so that Ka Mashiyam, Yawam, Waha Korabatham, or rather, Waha Korabatham, Manakha Hakadash La Yahweh. 17. Mama wa Ma wa Shabbath come Salak. Ma wa Shabbath Yakam Taba Ya'ai or Taba Ya'awa come Fana Wapha Shathyam Shanya Aishiranyam Salath Thaha Yayanha Chamataz Tha'apa Yanha Ba Kawarium La Yahweh. 18. Waha Korabatham Ail La rather Hala Chum Shaba'ith Kabashyam Thamyam Thamayamam Banya Shana Wapa Banya Bakor Akhad Wa Ayalam Shanyam Yahayawa Ayla La Yahawa Wa Manakathma Wa Nakas Nakas rather Wa Nasakyaham Asha Riyak Nayachak La Yahweh. 19. Wa Aishatham Sha'ayah Aizium Achad La Khata'af Wa Shanya Kabashyam Banya Shana La Zabak Shalamyam. Verse 20. Wahanayap Ha Kahan Athma Ayel Lakam Ha Bakaworium Fanawapa Lapanya Yahawa Ayel Shanya Kabashim Kodash Yahayawa La Yahawa La Kahan. 21. Wa Atham Ba Aitzam Ha Yawam Haza Makora Kodash Yahaya Lakam Ko Mala'akaf Ibadha La'a Fa'aishwa Kwachath rather Kwath Iwalam Bako Mawa Shabbath La Darath Yakam. Verse 22. Wa Ba Quatazar Kam Af Quatazayar Aratazar Kam La'a Thakala Ha'af Shadka La Quatazarka Wa Laquat Quatazayarka La'a Falaquat La Anya Wa La Gar Fa'izab Athma Anya Yahawa Alahayakam. 23. Waya Dabar Yahawa Al Masha La'amar. 24. Debar al Banya Yasher Allah, La Amar ba Chodash ha Shabayaya ba Achad la Chadash, Yahaya la Kam, Shabbat 1, Zakar 1, Tharawaiha, Makwara Kodash. 25. Ko Mala'akath, Ibadha La'a, Fa'ishwa Waha Batham, Asha La Yahweh. 26. Wa Yadabar Yahweh Al Masha La Amar. 27. Ak Salat Ba'ishwar La Khadash Ha Shabayaya Haza Yawam Ha Kaparium Hawa'a Makora Kodash Yahya Lakam Wa Aina Yath, rather Wa Ainyatham Af Napashath, so like, yeah, Napashath Ya Kam Waha Porabtham Asha La Yahweh. 28. Wakal Mala'aka La'a Fa'aishwa Ba'ai Tazam Wa Yawam Haza Kiyah Yawam Kaparium Hawa'a La Kapar Al Yakam La Panya Yahawa Ala Hayakam. 29. Kaya Ko Hanapash Ashara La'a Fa'ainha Ba'aitazam Ha Yawam Haza Wa Nakaratha Ma'aimya. 30. Wako Hanapash Ashara Aisha Ko Mala'aka Ba'aitazam Ba Yawam Salak Ha Yawam Haza Wa Ha'abadathya Ath Napash Hahawa'a Makurab Aimha. 31. Ko Mala'ak La'a Aishwa Kakwaf Iwalam La Darathyakam Bako Ma Shabbath Yakam. 32. Shabbathwan Hawa'a Lakam Wa I Niyeth Salak Wa Ain Yatham Af Napashath Yakam Ba Fashaiha La Khadash Ba'irab Ma'irab Aid Irab Fa Shabbathwa Ha Shabbath Kam. Fa Shabbathwa Shabbath Kam. 33. Waya Dabar Yahweh Al Masha La Amar. 24. Rather 34. Dabar Al Banya Yasher Allah La Amar Ba Kamasha Aishara Yawam La Khadash Ha Shabayaya Haza Chag Ha Sakwath Shaba'aith Yamya, rather Yam Yam Yahweh. 35. Ba Yawam Ha Ra'ashwan Makora Kodash Kol Mala'akath Ibadha La'a Ta'aishwa. 36. Shaba'aith Yam Yam Thakora Yabwa Asha La Yahweh Ba Yawam Ha Shamayanya Makora'a Kodash Yahya Lakam Waha Korayaptam Asha La Yahweh Itazarath Hawa'a Ko Mala'akath Ibadha La'a the Aishwa. 37. Oha Mawa'id Ya Yahweh Ashara Thakurawa Athma Makwara'aya Kodash La Hakora La Hakoriyab Asha La Yahweh Ayla Wa Manacha Zabak Wana Sakyam Dabar Yaham Salak Dabar Yawam Ba Yawamwa. 38. Ma La Bad Shabbathaf Yahweh Wa Ma La Bad Mathana Wath Yakam. Mathana Wath Yakam. Wama Labad Ko Nadar Yakam. Wama Labad Ko Nada Badawath Yakam Ashura Tathanwa La Yahweh. 39. Ak Bakhamasha Aisha Yawam La Khadash Hashabayaya Ba Asakam Af Tabawaaf Arataza Thachagwa Af Chag Yahweh Shaba'ith Yam Ba Yawam Ha Ra'ashwan Wa Ba Yawam Ha Shamayanya Shabbathwan. 40. Wa Lakwa Thum Lakam Ba Yawam Ha Ashwan Karya Aitaza rather yeah Aitaza Ha Hadar Kapath Thamariam Wa Ainap Aitaza Ibath Wa I Rabia Nakol Wa Shamaktham, or rather Shamaktham La Panya Yahweh Alahayakam Shaba'ith Yamya. 41. Wa Chagtham or Chagatham, that's right. Wa Chagtham Athwa Chag La Yahweh Shaba'ith Yamyam Bashana Wa Chakwa Chakta Iwalan La Derathyakum Bachadash Ha Shabayaya Thachagwa Afwa. 42. Basakath Thashabwa Shaba'ith Yamyam Kol Aratazak Ba Yasher Allah Yeshabwa Ba Basakath. 43. Lama Ain Yedaiwa Derath Yakam Kaya Af Banya Yasher Allah Bahawa Tazaya Bahawa Tazaya Ya our thumb rather a Wakma Ma'aratazah, Matazarium, Anya Yahweh Alahayakam. 44. Wayadabar Masha'af Ma'ayya Yahya Ol Banya Yasha'ala. That's it. So we declared those feasts unto the Lord. Okay, so now let's go into Leviticus 23 in the English now.
Yeah, I thought it was 22 too.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We're behind, right?
Last week I recorded 22 and 23.
Yeah.
Well, we did 23 now, so we just do 23, then we do 22 in the second half. If we skip one, that way we ain't skip nothing.
Probably 20.
Oh, because I checked. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Plus the title from the YouTube channel is wrong.
No, that's right. And I got two files here, and I think one of them has the 21 and 22. Yeah. Okay. So it's 22 and 23, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But which one is it?
So it's 22 and 23. So what we'll do is we'll just we'll go through 22 now, and then when we do 23, I'll read the Hebrew for 22. So we're not wasting any time.
Just go ahead with 23 and then go back. Just you already did the Hebrew.
I'd rather do the English and consecutive. At least. Let me just do. I'll just do 22 now, and then we'll just do 23. I'll just do the other Hebrew.
You want to do the Hebrew for 22?
No, I'm saying I'll do the English for 22, and then we'll just do the 23 in the English after we do the Hebrew for 22.
That's what he's saying.
No, it's my fault because I read 23 in Hebrew first. So let's just do 20. Let's just do 22 now.
Are you going to read the Hebrew?
I'm going to read the English 22, and then when we come back, I'll just do the other Hebrew. I'll do the Hebrew for 22, and we'll just go into 23 in the English.
I just want to point out something real quick. Class last night. Like in the Bible, we didn't really know if it was the Red Sea that God separated when the children of Israel walked past. Y'all familiar with that?
We didn't really know.
Yeah, the Bible never really said the Red Sea never came out and said the Red Sea. Remember that?
I don't know too big, but
You probably wasn't in that discussion. Anybody else was in that discussion? That the Bible never really says the Red Sea. Well, anyway, the Apocrypha said the Red Sea, according to Judah 5 and 13, it said the Red Sea.
well, then the Bible does say the Red Sea. The Apocrypha is the Bible.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying.
No, that's what you're confused because you're saying the Bible never says the Red Sea. And I'm like, so it's not in the Bible that says the Red Sea that you say in the Apocrypha? Because I'm looking at that is the Bible.
Okay, well, you look at it, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying.
I mean, is it not the Bible?
I mean, yeah, they say it is, so, you know.
Said,
I mean, in most editions, the Apocrypha not in the Bible. I'm still comparing, believe it or not, I'm still comparing. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you're not all the way there yet.
Right, I ain't 100% on it. But, you know, so I'm comparing, like, yeah. Like, I ain't know about, them first two books. Y'all was reading about the Chronicle of the Kings. They saying the same thing. That's Esther, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I see what I did. I got two files, and then the names are.
So in Exodus 15:4, that's not talking about the same Red Sea. If you're looking at it from what you're saying,
It didn't, in other words, in Exodus, it didn't say the Red Sea. It just said he separated the sea. Let's go through it. Where's
so
that?
Exodus 15:4, Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts had cast into the sea. His chosen captains are also drowned in the Red Sea.
Did it say that?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Exodus 15:4. Yeah.
Sounds like a concordance lookup.
Yeah, easy concordance.
Our 7 tools, right?
I think what you call him said that. What's her name? What you bring? What's her name? Alara. What it is that you bring?
Wow.
Wow. I thought it right.
I think she said that.
Wow.
That they never said the Red Sea.
No.
So she confused. There you go. That's the The woman ain't supposed to be talking. This man said anything.
Don't listen to us. Prove all things, right?
Let God be true and every man a liar.
There you go. We all can make mistakes. Look at me. I got the wrong chapter. So let's do Leviticus 22 now.
I'll be on.
Hey, Shalom.
Shalom, Elder. Shalom, Israelite. Are we having problems online?
I don't know.
Because I just keep chasing the circle around. I'm on the phone. On my saying no connection. Try to recap.
Maybe try a refresh on your browser. I haven't gotten any other text messages from anyone else. And we're good here on our live stream.
You know me, Nadia. I hate modern technology. I hate it.
I hear
I'm
you.
not doing anything on my phone. I'm doing it through my phone, on my cell phone.
Okay. And just feel free to chime in. Or what I'll do is I'll try to make sure too as we go through the things. I'll just repeat verses that come out in the congregation in case the voices don't come in.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you know, Nadia. All right.
Okay, definitely do that.
All right. Go on.
Shalom. Okay, so Leviticus 22 and 23. Still going according to the regular schedule, but we only did one chapter some weeks ago, so it's like we're pretty much at the end of the first half of the Gregorian year. So this is Leviticus 22. At least I've done 24 already. So Leviticus 22 in verse 1. With restitution, right? Laws dealing with restitution. You cause damages to your neighbor's property, namely his or her cattle, oxen, sheep, livestock, etc. You know the low aspects of our lives, right? Exodus 22 in verse 1. The man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it. He shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. So pretty straightforward here. We often question, why the 5, why the 4? I guess the Most High has a reason, obviously. But it's just saying that if you steal an ox that doesn't belong to you, or a sheep for the ox, you shall restore 5, and 4 for the sheep. So it's more than 1 for each of them, right? We know that for sure. And that should be an incentive, obviously, to not want to steal an ox or a sheep that doesn't belong to you, right? Now you're going to have to pay up 4. And as you read before in Exodus, going the previous chapter and before that, it's going into if you can't afford to make that restitution, whatever it may be, you have to sell yourself. Like you yourself have to work off that debt. somehow, some way. You can become a servant unto the person that you owe as a part of that debt. When you read the law. So more of an incentive to not to willfully do this, as opposed to, doing it by accident. That's different. If you think it's yours, but it's not. So it says in verse 2, if a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. Right? So, like they say, grab that bag, and, head out of town, be on the move. But it says, if there's like a tussle where it be known, oh, the person stole it, and whether the person that was stolen from is holding them up or somebody else figures it out, like, wait a minute, this guy's running off with something that isn't his. You can tell by the way by the way the thief is moving. And it said he be smitten that they die. Exodus 22. Leviticus 22.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
That's what I'm thinking. No.
What are you doing? Did I read this up before?
What are you reading? Exodus or Leviticus?
We're supposed to read Leviticus. I'm reading Exodus.
Oh.
I guess when I said Exodus earlier, 15, threw everything off.
Okay, so Leviticus 22. Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, we did go over this a while ago, and no. All right. Okay. Rise and shine. Leviticus 22 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, verse 2, speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, that they profane not my holy name, in those things which they hallowed unto me, I am Yahweh. So going into the sons of Aaron, they're supposed to separate themselves, set themselves apart. Because like we were reading last time, certain laws, certain things that they had to do, all Israel had to do, but then they were held to a higher standard, especially when it came to certain laws of uncleanness. Like even going to a deceased, going to what do you call them? Going to funerals of their own deceased family members. Certain priests couldn't do that, and even with the high priest, he was held to an even higher standard, where because he was supposed to be so clean, he couldn't even go to his own parents' funeral. So it's like you'll see the role for the priest and even the high priest himself. Certain things that they couldn't do that other people of Israel could do. So they're supposed to separate themselves. So you can link with 2 and 22 of Leviticus, not Exodus. As far as them being put apart, Exodus 28, you can link Exodus 28 and 38. Also, you can link Deuteronomy 15 and 19. Exodus 28 and 38 reads, and it shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts, and that shall be always upon his forehead, they may be accepted before Yahweh. Right, this is going into the mitre that he used to put in his head, and then there was like a plate he would put underneath his mitre right here in the front. It's just supposed to signify how he's hallowed or set apart. And then in Deuteronomy 15:19, this just goes into how the firstborn of the males are hallowed or set apart. Similar to how Aaron and his sons will be set apart. Deuteronomy 15 and 19 says, and all the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Then it says, thou shalt eat it before Yahweh thy power, year by year, in the place which Yahweh shall choose, thou and thy household. If be any blemish therein, if be lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt eat within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water. So no eating blood, of course, but then going into, if you have a blemish, then you can partake of it. You shouldn't sacrifice it. Remember, any sacrifice is supposed to be completely whole. That's not blameless. But you could just you can mainly write down Deuteronomy 15 and 19. So back to Leviticus 22. Let's read on in verse 3. Leviticus 22 and 3 reads, say unto them, whosoever he be of your seed among your generations that goeth unto the holy things, which the children of Israel hallow unto Yahweh, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off from the presence. From my presence, I am Yahweh. So, no dealing with the holy things of the Lord, right? Anything the Most High has sanctified or hallowed, no coming across that when you yourself are unclean. You do that, you shall be put to death. You can just link that with Leviticus chapter 7. Leviticus chapter 7 and verse 20, you can link with 22 and 3. It says in Leviticus 7 and 20, but the soul that eateth of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings that pertaineth unto Yahweh, having his uncleanness upon him, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. So when you eat of the sacrifice of peace offerings, you're unclean, you should be cut off. It's another scenario being cut off when partaking of something, in this case the peace offering, and you're unclean. And of course, as all sacrifices, they're considered holy or hallowed things. So wait until you fulfill your days of uncleanness, whether it's a day or 7 days, however long, given whatever the situation, and then you can partake of it. So Leviticus 22 and 4, it says, what man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper or hath a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things until he be clean. Whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goeth from him. So going into now, even of the priests, they shouldn't deal with the holy things until they themselves have been purified of their uncleanness, right? Whether he's got leprosy or a running issue, like a running issue of blood where you're bleeding profusely and it hasn't clotted, right? Then it says, whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, right? So unclean due to coming in contact with a corpse, or a man whose seed goeth from him, so being unclean through ejaculation. It says in verse 5, or whosoever touches any creeping thing whereby he may be made unclean, or a man whom he may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he has. So even coming across a creeping thing, right, that would make you unclean, like something that goes on all four, right, like a dead animal, so to speak. So these just being reviews of things that we know or should know that'll make us unclean. So the link with 22, first with verse 4. You link that with Leviticus chapter 13. which just the whole chapter deals with someone having, leprosy in their body. As you read on the other chapters, it goes into not just leprosy in someone's body, but even clothing or cloth having leprosy, and even a house, there'd be leprosy in a house. We pondered on that and said, I wonder what that would look like. Maybe we see that now and just don't acknowledge it for what it is. We have Leviticus 13, and also you can write down as a link Leviticus chapter 15, verses 2, and also verse 16. Leviticus 15 and 2 just deals with the uncleanness due to a running issue of blood. And then Leviticus 15 and 16 dealing with uncleanness due to ejaculation. And then another one you can write down too, Numbers 19 and 11. Numbers 19, 11, and as you go down, goes into uncleanness when you come in contact with a dead body. So Numbers 19:11 to go with this as well. And as far as uncleanness by a creeping thing, you can just write down the link with 22 and 5 of Leviticus. You can link with Leviticus chapter 11, going into the dietary law. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 24, and also 43 to 44 you could link to. Leviticus 11, 24, and also 43 to 44, about being made unclean by a creeping thing.
Ecclesiastes 34:25. He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch again, what availeth his washing? So if he's unclean and he wash himself and then he go back and touch it again, he's gonna become unclean again. So you have to be careful of your uncleanness.
Okay. So Ecclesiasticus
34:25.
You must be talking about Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiasticus.
You said 34, 35.
34, 25.
34:25.
Oh, sorry, you said
34.
But
Not that many chapters.
stay the same thing. Ecclesiastes only has 12 chapters.
Ecclesiasticus said, I thought he said 34 and 35, they only go up to 25. But I should have just read it, I guess.
But you said that can't be Ecclesiasticus. That's
Right.
Ecclesiastes.
Right, but I know it sounded like he said Ecclesiasticus. But he said Ecclesiasticus, but 34 sounded like 25. I mean, 35 sounded like 25.
But either way, it wouldn't be an Ecclesiastes, because Ecclesiastes stops at chapter 12. That's the point we're making.
Right.
So it would have been Ecclesiasticus, whether it was 25 or 34.
No, that's all right. I ain't going there. I'm not even.
I have to repeat it again.
Unless there's a missing book of Ecclesiastes, we don't know.
Right, it's facts. That's all. No, because I look for 34, 35 of Ecclesiasticus. When I see 34, 35, I figure Ecclesiastes. That's all. That's all.
So that links with Leviticus 22, verse 4 and 5. So reading on in Leviticus 22 in verse 6, it reads, "The soul which hath touched any such shall be unclean until even, and shall not eat of the holy things until he wash his flesh with water," which is just part of the law. When you become unclean, you're supposed to wash yourself with water. And as far as the laws dealing with that, just as we read it already in the previous services, but just write down as a link, Leviticus chapter 15, from verse 5 down to 11. Leviticus 15, 5 to 11, link that with Leviticus 22 and 6. So Leviticus 22 and 7 now, he reads, "And when the sun is down, he shall be clean. Afterward eat of the holy things, because it is his food." So once that he's completed his days, fulfilled his days, the priest of uncleanness, then that priest can partake of the holy things intended for him. And the offerings that people bring to them, they can partake of that, because of that holy service they do for the Lord. And with 22 and 7, Leviticus, was Numbers chapter 18. Numbers chapter 18, verse 11, and also verse 13.
We said Numbers chapter 22 and 7.
Link Leviticus 22 and 7. You can link Numbers chapter 18, verse 11, and also verse 13. Just going into the heave offering and the first fruits that are brought out of the land, that it lets you know that everyone that is clean in that house, that they can partake of it. So the Most High reminds Levi here when it comes to these first fruits, along with the heave offering as a gift and the wave offerings provided by the children of Israel. They can partake of it as long as they're clean. Numbers chapter 18, verse 11, and verse 13. So they're just being reminded there too that they have to be clean before they partake. So Leviticus 22, verse 8, it reads, we like this one. It says, "That which dieth of itself or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am Yahweh." So he can't partake of the things that died of themselves or that are torn with beasts. So this is something that the priests can't partake in. But even in general, with Israel, we can't partake in that. But strange nations, they can eat things that died for themselves. But we're not supposed to. And the priests definitely aren't supposed to. But just to show that we're not supposed to partake in the things that die to themselves, meaning if you're going to eat a lawful beast, right, that's lawful to eat, it has to be, killed by your own hand. It can't just be something out there that's lying out there on the road, flies, right, or even newly died. Not supposed to partake of it, but you can give it to the other nations. So we talk about, love your brother, love your neighbor, and love the stranger, right? That's based on the law, right? Because loving means according to the commandments, right? Because the love of God is that we keep his commandments, as commandments are not grievous, right? That's that obedient love. A lot of folks have a hard time with that because they'll say, oh, well, I can make it eat the things that die for themselves, but then Israel isn't. That's kind of cruel, but no, it's what the Most High set up. So where's your love? Is it with the how you feel, or is it with the Most High said? We have to address that. We talk about, loving everybody. Yeah, we're supposed to, according to what the Most High said. So I see your hand, but before you bring that out, just link up with 22 and 8. As far as us not eating the things that died for themselves, you can just write down Exodus 22 and 31. Exodus 22 and 31, where it tells Israel, ye shall be holy men unto me, neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. So animals can partake of it, but we're not supposed to. And what does this say to go with that? In Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 21. Deuteronomy 14 and 21. It says, ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give unto the stranger that is within thy gates, and he may eat it. For thou mayest sell it unto an alien. Thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk, right? Or boil a kid for the first year, because it's supposed to be weaned already. But the main thing I want to draw from this is the first precepts, where it talks about not eating anything that died of itself, you shall give it unto the stranger. Now, these two laws, when read together, we can get some understanding behind the famous scene where Christ dealt with the Syrophoenician woman, right? Where he told her, let the children first be filled. It's not meet to take the children's bread and cast it unto dogs. So he was showing her love according to the commandment. We see here in the law, when it comes to things that have died of itself, you can either give that to the animals or you can give that to a stranger, right? So a lot of things that Christ would say, they would imply certain things from the law, but he wouldn't always make the connection. Sometimes we had to read it ourselves and go, oh, okay, I see why he worded it this way, why he said it that way. Had we understood what was written before time, we would go, oh, okay. Because when Christ gave parables, he would give the breakdown sometimes. Other times, he just put it out there, and it was like, you go and learn what that means. You don't know what I'm talking about? You should. So we get to go and search and go, oh, okay, that's when he said this is what he meant. So you read that in the Gospels. He would make mention of many things in the law. So a lot of folks that say, oh, the law's done away with, but they love Jesus. They don't have, a lot of them don't know most of the stuff that he was saying, what he was even talking about, or a frame of reference he was even coming from when he made certain statements. So, y'all can know?
Yeah, concerning this law, the things that the food that we eat in our neighborhoods is not like high quality food. We don't know how the animal, was killed, or if the animal was sick, or just died, and they just, cut off that bad part or whatever, and put up and give it to us. We don't know how it's killed. So they're giving us low quality food. Because when we go into the higher upper neighborhood, you see the good cuts of meat, so on and so forth. But when you come here in the local neighborhood, we don't see that high quality food.
So what do?
No, I'm saying this is how they treat us. That we don't know the quality of food that we're eating compared to what they eat.
Okay, so I'm saying,
so when it's flipped now, like in the kingdom, we're gonna eat the good quality food, and they're gonna eat the lower quality food.
Okay.
We were at one point eating good quality food. They were getting low quality food. But when we disregarded the privilege and the covenant the Most High gave us, it's like, all right, well, you guys don't care about it. Now you get the low quality food. You see how it is. So now all the complaints that we draw, we don't want to blame but ourselves. Right? We really can't blame Esau. Esau is been given that position because of our own disobedience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now it's like, oh yeah, we don't know. So we go through these hundreds of years going through this type of circumstance, you know, when we get it back, you know, never look back again. But yeah, the law is the law. At the same time we read this law and it says, yeah, the animal you find. And the interesting thing about this, they have what they call roadkill barbecues. Like, especially in Virginia, yeah, because my old former boss, he was going to a big festival and it was a roadkill festival where in the area where, you know, animals that was killed on the side of the road that they found in the woods or whatever, they went and got them all and put it together and they went and had a nice little feast eating roadkill, right? So it's like, I was never going to go and I don't know what that is going on, but they chose to go and eat roadkill. They have no problem eating an animal that died of itself or whatever. That's fine with them. And so this law is not that far removed from especially Esau. So
Right. So I put it out there again. So what do we do if we know we try to go to the place where they have the cleanest meats? We try to go to a slaughterhouse, right, or a place where they cut it, and we just don't know because, like we're talking about, because of the curse, we go to our enemies, and hunger and thirst, nakedness, one of all things, right? What do we do? What scripture could we pull out if someone's like, oh man, I don't want to eat anything from the heathen, but they themselves may not have the power to grow it themselves, whether it be, you know, in their garden or if they have like a coop or like a field to grow animals. What's a verse we can go to calm those fears?
reason?
I'm just saying, what's a verse we can use, or what could we say to someone that has that concern?
You already quoted Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah. Say what? Oh no, he's on it. When you pull that, let me know. I'm gonna read Leviticus 22:9. Yeah, he's on the right track. Sure.
Same day. Have to do some.
Wow. So Leviticus 22:9. You got that? Are you getting it? Leviticus 22:9. It says, "They shall therefore keep mine ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die therefore, if they profane it. I, Yahweh, do sanctify them." So with the 22:9. Sorry. 22:9, you can link Exodus 28. Exodus 28:43. Exodus 28, the chapter as a whole, goes into how Aaron and the high priest to come after him, what they would wear, their dress, as far as the breastplate, the linen ephod, the mitre, etc., and so forth. With Exodus 28 in 43, it just tells you that when they wear these things along with the linen breeches, that the other priests, not just the high priest, the other priests wear the linen breeches. It just goes into how they should always wear them when they go into the congregation, or go into the holy place to minister into the congregation. It says that they bear not iniquity and die. That they cover themselves with the linen breeches. So you got it?
Yeah. Oh, I was reading something.
You got the verse for the question?
No, I was saying, I was going to mention this verse. 1 Corinthians 10:25 says.
Yeah, that was it. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, it said, whatsoever is sold is it shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about brown, but it's shambles.
Mm-hmm. What? You got it. Thanks. Thanks. Water. So, yeah, because you tear your hair out, right? Saying, I didn't grow that lamb. I didn't grow those vegetables myself, or I didn't raise them chickens myself, or whatever it is that you're getting. When it comes to captivity, if you don't have means, what can you do? Of course, in the context of the verse here, not saying whatever you buy, as we know, context-wise, it's talking about lawful meats, right? Not just saying, oh yeah, they got some rack of pork rib at the shambles or the meat market. Go ahead and pick that up. We would never buy that. In captivity, out of captivity. So clearly, we know the implication is that it's talking about lawful meat, and that was killed by a man's hand, right? Some man's hand. What else can you do? As you said earlier, it's a reminder of, yeah, this is what it's like when you have power taken from you. You can't chart your own destiny. You can't talk about, freedom. You don't have, power yourself as far as your family, your community, your nation to provide the necessities for, to be able to provide your own necessity and to go to others for your necessity. So that's what comes with the territory. You're under the Most High's grace at that point. So there was Exodus 28 and 43. The link with Leviticus 22 and 9. Let's continue on. Leviticus 22 and 10. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing. The sojourner of the priest or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. Right? So, once again, no stranger partaking of those things that are holy. Right?
This is Gentiles, man.
Yeah.
What?
No. No, because it says a sojourner of the priest or an hired servant. Because when it comes to the actual nations, there are bondmen and bondmaids definitely. But this we'll say it's talking about someone. This is, I guess, far removed from the Commonwealth of Israel. They've been far out, far away. It's just saying that they shouldn't partake of these holy things that pertain to the sons of Aaron or the priests. It's kind of interesting because it says a sojourner of the priest. So it's like you could be a house of the priest, but if you're not dwelling with the priest, you're out and about in this place and that place. You know, it's like it's kind of tough to say, you know, what you may have come up against or what you've been dealing with out there amongst the strange nations. You know, we'll come far away. We know the law about, you know, washing yourself and do this and that, but when you're not in the congregation, growing up amongst the priests your whole life, you at least have that record of, okay, I know all my life I've been, you know, with my brethren in the tabernacle or in the temple, right? I can vouch for my cleanness or lack thereof and who I've interacted with. The Most High is making that distinction there, that the stranger of our people not partake of this.
So, just to clarify what we're talking about, and just the stranger is dealing with Israel.
Just because the heathen can't take about holy right? You know they're unclean because they're heathen, right? So the strange talking about Israelites that move, right?
That's like that what?
That move, don't live with us. He ain't in our city, he's somewhere else. Strange.
I wouldn't even say they're just moves. That a person who's not a part of that set.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if we were to keep the law as it is, right, and the Levites are the ones who go through the priesthood, Kanabiyah would be a stranger to now doing anything as far as for the Levitical priesthood.
If he wasn't under the Levitical priesthood.
If he wasn't under the Levitical priesthood, so he's a stranger to that order, right?
I didn't understand.
Is that kind of where we're going, Con?
Yeah, I have a link to give some understanding. I don't have any notes on this verse for some reason. Like almost like I didn't even read it. But here's a link to kind of give some more understanding. I didn't read over this recently, so I'm kind of read over this like 3 weeks ago. But for verse 10, I guess an example we could use for verse 10 would be like in the case when David was going to run from Saul, and they didn't have any food, and then they provided him with the showbread that was holy unto the priest, but provided unto him because he had necessity. But we know out of the ordinary, he would just go to the priest and be like, yo, give me that showbread. That wouldn't be for someone like David. That's something that would belong to the priest specifically. So 1 Samuel 21. The whole section is 1 to 7. But verse 6 is like the main verse. You can link that with 22 and 10. Just write down your notes. 1 Samuel 21, 1 to 7. In verse 6, it says, within that section, verse 6, so the priest gave him hallowed bread. There was no bread there but the showbread that was taken from before Yahweh. To put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. And he even tells them, you know, me and those men that are with me, right? You know, we've kept ourselves from women, and you know, we're not defiled by any means, you know, due to being with women or a dead body or what have you, right?
This is 1 Samuel what?
21.
And what?
I just read verse 6. They even told him, there's no common bread to give you, only the hallowed bread. So David kind of had to vouch to say, well, I know we're not supposed to have it, but you know, I'm in a dire strait. but they'll also let you know to let you know we ourselves aren't unclean by whatever means, right? So, not to say, we would normally do this. Like I said, it was a special situation. But of course, you could bend that rule in this case because of David's situation and being persecuted wrongfully and being on the run. Like with the Christ and his disciples picking the corn, and the Pharisees checking them. Christ uses the same story to say, did not David eat of the things that didn't pertain to him, right? When he had need, when he was hungry. Just showing that, that these laws made for man, and man wasn't made for the law. The law was made for us to benefit us, not to harm us or to hurt us. Is to use wisdom to apply, grace when needed.
You can also add Numbers 16 and 40, just to elaborate on the stranger being of Israel as it pertains to certain rights that was not given to them. This is Numbers 16 and verse 40. It says, to be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he be not as Korah and as his company, as the Lord said to him by the hand of Moses. So it was stipulated that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come to offer incense, because the offering of incense was just for him and that line. But anyone else who was not of that of Aaron and Korah was treated as a stranger. They could not be viewed as being a Korahite. Yeah. Korahite.
Why they specify not of the seed of Aaron? That means you can be a stranger and still be of the seed of Aaron.
That means you can be a stranger
and still be of the seed of Aaron, because it says, why they be so specific is not of the seed of Aaron.
Because you had to come from that lineage. You had to be a Levite that comes from Aaron, and then you had to be of Aaron's son Korah to go and offer the incense. Right? So that person who is not of Aaron's seed cannot be as Korah. He has to come from it. If he is, then he's a stranger.
What is Korah?
Korah is the son.
Wait a minute. I thought Korah was he was a Kohathite, right? But he was the one that wanted to have because this chapter's dealing with the coup, right?
You're absolutely right. You're right. That he beat out Korah, the one who was overthrown. Right.
He overstepped his bounds.
Yes, exactly. So he's being used as an example.
Right. I like this verse though, as far as the wording. This is good.
Yeah. Stranger,
which is not the seed of Aaron. So it's like the degrees of strangeness, right. So to speak.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're just a stranger. You're just a heathen. Then you got a stranger, 12 tribes, you just out there, not really around a congregation like that.
Right.
Then you got those that are within that are the Hebrews that live in the land, but it's like you're still a stranger to Levi as a tribe.
Right.
You can't deal with certain things that even Levi deals with. Then within Levi, you got, only certain Levites can deal with this, only certain Levites can deal with that. And yet the sons of Aaron, which is like the upper echelon of that. So the sons of Aaron will tell General Levi, you guys are strange to what we got. Then within the sons of Aaron, you got the high priest who could tell the other priests, sons of Aaron, y'all are strangers to what I deal with in the holiest of holies. So it's like
levels.
Right. So it's like context, you can kind of apply it to different things, you know.
Not as intricate with king line. It's just like, you know, David, Solomon, like
Right.
he go down that line, but
Mm-hmm.
still, like, all Judites don't have that. So yeah, the kingdom is run through Judah, but who's your dad? Who's your great granddad? Who's the, you're a stranger to this too.
You have to be of that house of David, and then we know with all the house of David, they all didn't become kings. But typically, I think they were given like prominent positions. When you read about certain kings, it would set their other sons and daughters up in key spots. But there's always one particular son that was selected to be that king. Sometimes you had others that wanted to take it for themselves. Yeah, I'm a son of David, or I'm a son of Solomon. I want it. It's just like, nah, it's not for you. I want it to be for this one.
Like before, try to run on Samson, right? I mean, Solomon.
Right. Because Adonijah, they had to grab him up and go, And then remember even Absalom before him.
Yeah.
You know, that's interesting discussion because with Absalom, we know a lot of that goes back to David's sin as far as, you know, him and Bathsheba, but you know, it's, I don't say speculation, but you could kind of see had things worked out differently, that Absalom potentially being that next one in line. You know what I mean? Given the situation, given how things transpired with, you know, his sister and his older brother, and, you know, but everything, you know, happens a certain way so that whoever's next in line gets picked. And the Most High, he ultimately knows who he wanted anyway.
Right.
We just kind of play through it. You know, like we're like in the story, whereas the Most High, he already knows who was going to be that one to have that birthright or to be chosen for that. You can go back to Jacob's, for example. You know, initially would have been Reuben, his eldest. Reuben made certain choices, right? Where it's like, okay, he was removed out of favor, right? So it fell to Joseph, you know, as far as the birthright. So let's go back to Leviticus 22. I'll read 10 again and read on in verse 11. It says, "There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing, a sojourner of the priest, or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing." Now, when it says a consummate, when it says a sojourner of the priest,
Sojourner of, I guess that's just someone, like I think you alluded to it earlier, someone who's around the priest, or a hired servant, because it says both of them. Sojourner of the priest or a hired servant. He's maybe like helpers.
okay.
You know, who are there to aid them in what they need to do, but they cannot themselves take on the role of being like the priest to go in.
Gotcha. Okay. So I guess the sojourner of the priest, would that that could be an Israelite, could be a heathen, doesn't? Okay.
I think the next verse kind of goes well.
All right. So verse 11, it says, "But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house shall eat of his meat." Right. So someone close or nigh to the priest, they grew up under the priest's care in that household.
And could that person does that person have to be of the tribe of Israel? But it's just not clear enough. It was a hired servant.
priest by any soul with his money, he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house shall eat of his meat. So I can see this being like Exodus 21, where it talks about any it stay with them, and they will get us. They're all putting it here like a certain person will belong to that master indefinitely. This is any Israelite might be a master or have land, right? But this here is going into the example, I guess, of a priest having someone that now that any soul means anybody, but once again, just anytime it's just any or all by context, right?
So when we talk about any of the things that were offered to the priests, like the tenths of the whether it's from the herd or the land, classified as holy thing. It was given to the priest, and the priest is supposed to be holy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So was their food, their provisions looked at as holy because it was dedicated to the Most High that was given to the priests.
It kind of goes back and forth between that, as well as things that will be used specifically for the offerings of the Most High, like the priest, the peace offerings, the things that will go toward the meat offerings, holy things into the priest. The flour that will be used for the showbread, of course, the showbread itself, that will be considered a holy thing. So you get a distinction between those holy things versus, like you said, the things that were offered. Even back in 21, no man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron shall come nigh to offer the offerings. He hath a blemish, he shall eat of the bread, both of the most holy and of the holy. Only he shall not go in unto the veil. So the most holy and the holy. So showing distinction between things that are considered holy unto the priest.
I'm reading this in Numbers 5 and 9. So in Numbers 5 and 9 it says, and every offering of all the holy things of the children of Israel, which they bring unto the priest, shall be his. Verse 10, and every man's hallowed thing shall be his. Whatsoever any man giveth the priest, it shall be his. Viewing that whatever is given to the priest is called a hallowed thing or a holy thing. Now, if we go back into saying, hey, if this person is bought with money, he may eat of the hollow thing, meaning he may eat of the things that was given to the priest.
Okay.
Because now you're looking at what is the holy thing? Is a holy thing just to show bread, or is a holy thing whatever? Because you have different, like you said, different levels to what is a part of the offerings, so to speak. All that may be classified as holy things. But then you have certain things that are most holy things, or holy things that are separating or eating.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I see the peace offering, the heave offerings, the wave offerings, like these being classified as holy things for sure.
Right. And then you the priest, of course, was eating the wave off. Now, those are holy things. And now, if you have someone who is bought or is raised in your house, they may eat of those things because they're his provision. So he can give them to those that are classified in verse 11. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat. Whereas the verse above, someone who is not a part of that, they're just around, they're not born in his house, they cannot eat.
Right, because he can't really vouch for his life entirely.
Right.
And where he's been involved with, what he's been in contact with. Okay. But now, once again, any soul.
Oh.
Would it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to look for a law that would say,
That's not a
yeah, and partake of the holy things. And that stranger being a stranger that is an actual heathen, not just a stranger of the children of Israel. So I think to show that this has to be talking about an Israelite that he bought, what we could go to is let's try Exodus 29. Exodus 29. I think I had this verse pulled for something else too. Exodus 29 and 33. The ram of the consecration, you see this flesh in the holy place. Aaron and his son shall eat of the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket by the door of the tabernacle congregation. And they shall eat those things wherewith the atonement was made, to consecrate and to sanctify them. So this going into the consecration of the priest, this chapter. They kind of have to offer what's offered for them, and they have to kind of demonstrate all the different sacrifices as part of their consecration. And you go through the list of all these things. It says, but a stranger shall not eat thereof because they are holy. But they could be talking about not just a stranger or heathen, they could be talking about even the children of Israel. I don't know what happened. I went through this like 3 weeks ago. I don't have any links for this verse. I don't know why. I just read right past it. Strange. Okay, so We could link that verse, and let's just continue on. Exodus 29 and 33. As far as things being holy or hallowed unto the priest. Exodus 29:33 also linked with Leviticus 22 and 11, along with what you pull Numbers chapter 5, verses 9 and 10. I would have asked about this. I'm trying to think what I read this before, but I thought of it. It seemed to make sense the first time, but anyway. I'll read verse 11 again. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it. He that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat. So, Numbers 18. Yeah, I mean, based on what we see here, we'll just say anyone that the priest buys, because whether it's a Gentile or an Israelite or what have you, in that house going through the same motions that they go through, right? They can partake of that. At least that's the way it appears now. I mean, based on what we're reading. And I think we linked it already, but 11. Numbers chapter 18 and verse 11, which says, and this is done, the heap offering of their gift with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel, I have given them unto thee, and to thy sons and to thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. Everyone that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, and all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, first fruits of them which they shall offer unto Yahweh, them have I given thee. Whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto Yahweh, shall be thine. Everyone that is clean in thine house shall eat of it. We'll just take it as is based on what we read until we can produce another verse to show otherwise. So 18, 11 to 13, you can link to. So back to Leviticus 22, let's read on in verse 12. It says, if the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of an offering of the holy things. But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced and have no children, and is returned to her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat. But there shall no stranger eat thereof. This must have been why I didn't write any scriptures on it. So I don't know. 12 and 13 might have to go against everything that was just said. So I'm thinking about this in conjunction with this other verse. Like what's being implied here, right? Like we see what's clearly being said. if the priest's daughter, right, because she's of the house of Aaron too, it says, if she be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of the offering of the holy things, right? So she's married to any other nation that's not the children of Israel, right?
I wouldn't even say not of the children of Israel. I would say,
Not of the children of Aaron.
yeah, exactly. That she marries someone that's not of the sons of Aaron, that she cannot eat of the holy things. Especially because she's not even in the house anymore. She's, doing something else. But the second verse in the chapter to me sets the tone. It says, speaking to Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel. Right? So now these sons and everything that's going on with Aaron, they're now separated from everyone else. So it's like, again, going back to the levels of it, Israel as a whole is separated already from the other nations. Now Aaron and his sons are separated from the rest of the children of Israel. Right? And then it goes down the line into those different things that has to happen within Aaron and his sons. That says, hey, if this happens, he can't be a part of this. If this happens, he can't be a part of that. If these people come around, they can't eat of that, but they can eat. Like it's still staying within Israel. This is not dealing with either. This was the precedence was set that the Most High was telling him that this has to be separated from the rest of the children of Israel, even the other Levites, because Aaron was one man within Levi, right? The rest of those other ones, Moses and the rest of the Levites, they're now separated from this. And now when you have this family tree from Aaron on down that deals with the rest of Levi, the rest of Israel, these are the circumstances that now fall into play. From what I see.
So because of verse 2, you think that stranger for sure is talking about her being married to someone of the house of Aaron.
So say the last part again?
So this stranger in 12, you're thinking means that it has to be someone that is of the house of Aaron. It has to be of the house of Aaron, and if it's not, then it's a stranger.
Right.
I don't know. I know that the seed of the forefather is what determines, but I'm just thinking back to Leviticus 21 where it talks about Aaron and his sons. We know they can't marry a strange woman, but they can marry women of different tribes. It's just as long as they haven't known another man.
Right, but this is just dealing with the holy thing, right? It's not that they couldn't marry somebody. This is dealing with the holy thing. Of who can eat the holy thing and who can't eat the holy thing. Like now, if she goes and marries someone who is not allowed to eat the holy thing, they're classified as a stranger.
Okay. Got you. So it's Numbers 16 and 40 again. Strangers from the house of Aaron. And that's why in verse 13, if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced and have no child, and return to her father's house, as in a youth, she shall eat her father's meat, that there shall no stranger eat thereof. So going back to hers being in her father's house, which her husband as deceased would have been near kin to her father anyway, and being of the house of Aaron. So with that understanding, verse 11, it has to be talking about a servant that they may have bought unto themselves of one of the 12 tribes.
Yeah, because so that's in the law where sometimes Israel is poor and they may indebt themselves to someone to work,
right,
whatever, work their debt off or work.
Exodus, right.
Right. So because when you look at it collectively, the body of the law, it would now appear to be strange if it was the other way around, where the priest marries his daughter to a heathen. Right? It's like, man, you have these laws where the Most High is very specific about don't give your sons to their daughters and their daughters to your sons to marry, but then kind of like really like thrown off.
Well, that's I mean, that part is clear. I
Right.
think it's just a matter of who can she lawfully marry and still partake of the holy things.
Right.
Israel, notwithstanding, within Israel, as we're saying now, of the house of Aaron, of the sons of Aaron.
So let's say move
Okay,
forward.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Generations going down, that lineage comes out of Aaron, whereas someone else's son marries someone else's daughter that comes out of the lineage of Aaron. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. But then it's like some other man of Levi that's not of the house of Aaron, that was not given the rights to partake of the holy things, and she marries him. Then I think that's where the separation comes in.
Yeah, and it won't be pound for pound, as opposed to Aaron. Like, I'm thinking about his wife, who was Judah, but she was but the understanding would be, obviously, she didn't know any other man but him. She wasn't like divorced. She was a princess of Judah. I think she was actually an ancestor to David, even onto the lineage. So in their case, okay, you can see them marrying wives of Aaron, of course, also them marrying wives of other tribes, as long as they didn't know another man, as those sons and daughters that come after would be sanctified, But in the case of the priest's daughter marrying someone that's not of the seed of Aaron, it's just that risk. Because it's going to be whatever that man's house is. And him not being held to that same standard as the seed of Aaron, it's just going to make things problematic. As far as the partaking of the holy things. I didn't say she couldn't do it, but just of the partaking of the holy things. Okay. So reading on in verse 14, actually the link with verse 13, sorry, Leviticus chapter 10. Leviticus chapter 10 and verse 14. Leviticus chapter 10 and verse 14, it says, "And a waved breast and heaved shoulders shall ye eat in a clean place," referring to the holy things of offered unto Aaron and his sons. "Thou and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, for they are thy due, and thy sons' due, are given out of the sacrifice of peace offerings of the children of Israel." Just an example of the things that they can partake on. They can partake unto the sons and the daughters of Aaron. Of course, with the stipulation here, unless she marries a stranger of the house of Aaron. So Leviticus chapter 10, 14, linked with Leviticus 22 and 13. Now Leviticus 22 and 14 now. It says, "And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly, and he shall put the fifth part thereof unto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing, and they shall not profane holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto Yahweh." So with verse 14, as far as if they make a mistake and they eat those things that only pertain to Aaron and his sons and daughters, when it says they do it unwittingly, so now this fifth part he puts unto it is like an offering that he makes It's kind of like you say something like a sin or a trespass offering, right? Where you make a transgression unknowingly or by accident. You have to put this forth in order to be, in order to kind of atone for that mistake or atone for that transgression. So you can read to link with this Leviticus chapter 4 in verse 2. Leviticus chapter 4 and verse 2. It says, speaking to the children of Israel, saying, if a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahweh, concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, right? As it goes down, it goes into the sin offering, where, to be more specific, it's not going into so much willful sin, but sin through ignorance, right? You just may not be aware of a certain thing. You find out afterwards. You realize, oh, I shouldn't have ate that, or I shouldn't have partook of this, right?
What means put the fifth part?
Well, then this next verse is going to go into it. Leviticus chapter 5, verse 14, and verse 15. I mean, down to 16. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, verse 15, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance in the holy things of Yahweh, then he shall bring for his trespass unto Yahweh a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with thy estimation, by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. He shall make amends for the harm he had done in the holy thing, and shall add the fifth part thereto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. So it's like, that's Leviticus chapter 5, 14 through 16. So instead of like a tenth, you're going to do a fifth. It's like a double offering, you know what I mean? As opposed to your typical tenth that you would give to Levi. You would do a fifth because of the mistake that you made. The 10 times 2. Because the fifth is more than a tenth. The fifth is 20% as opposed to a tenth, which is 10%. We're talking about a fifth of a whole as opposed to tenth of a whole. So 20% as opposed to 10%. It's like
whatever that is,
like a double tithe of sorts. So that's Leviticus 5, 14 to 16, and Leviticus 4 and 2 to go with Leviticus 22 and 14. Let's go back to Leviticus 22. Let's read on in 16. It says, or suffer them to bear the iniquity of trespass when they eat their holy things, for I, Yahweh, do sanctify them. So to suffer or allow them to bear the iniquity of trespass. So hence the offering for trespass, or sin or transgression, right? Due to ignorance. So with the 16, we were in Numbers 18 already, but I'll read Numbers 18 again, but I'm going to read verse 32 for this one. Numbers 18 and 32, it says, this whole chapter is going into what's due to the house of Aaron as an inheritance, since we know the tenth in Israel is considered Levi's inheritance. But Numbers 19 and 32, the last verse in Numbers 18, 32. I'm talking about chapter 18, not chapter 19, chapter 18. The last verse is 32. It says, and ye shall bear no sin by reason of it, and ye have heaved it from the best of it. Neither shall ye pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest ye die. So to not bear any sin pertaining to this offering, same as when we read in Leviticus 22. don't bear the iniquity of the trespass. Make it good by giving this fifth, right? Fifth part, because of the mistake that was made. You don't want that hanging on your head, right? Like we talk about the scapegoat. Like you don't want to hold on to the scapegoat. You want to take it into the wilderness. Right? That's supposed to be what you give up because of the sin, the action for all the nation, right? But we do it during the time of the Day of Atonement. So, in the case of just smaller infractions, sins or trespasses in general, you want to make sure you make it good. That's how you do it. So it's not something that's still in your books as something that you need to pay out, or something that's owed, something that you still need to atone for. Okay. So yeah, Numbers 18:32 to link with Leviticus 22 and 16. Reading on in verse 17, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say unto them, Whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, we know what strangers these are, that will offer his oblation for all his vows and for all his freewill offerings, which they will offer unto Yahweh for a burnt offering. So you can link, of course, Leviticus chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, which talks about the burnt offering, which should be given for those. So Leviticus chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, dealing with the burnt offering. To link that with what we're reading here in verse 18. So let's read on. It says, You shall offer at your own will a male without blemish of the beeves, or the sheep, or of the goats. Right? So it's going into the burnt offerings with the kind of animals you could use for a burnt offering, which Leviticus chapter 1 tells you. And when it says beeves there, that's just going into cattle. Right? Like think of it as like beef plural. Man, I see that word being used a lot, but that's what beeves means. So whether it be of the cattle or of the herd, the cattle, of the flock, of the goats. It can be of any of those. It says, write it down here. (22, 18, 1 and 2). Verse 20, but whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer, which shall not be acceptable for you. So anything with a blemish, we're not supposed to offer, which we've seen this before. But it's good that we review this. As far as for verse 19, you can link Leviticus 1 and 3. I said it, but I didn't quote the verse. I just quoted 1 and 2 about the burnt offering. But link 22 and 19 of Leviticus, link that with Leviticus 1 and 3. Which tells you that it should be of the cattle, of the flock, or of the goats. And now for verse 20, you can link that with Deuteronomy 15, in verse 21. Also, Deuteronomy 17 in verse 1. Both of those verses tell you that anytime you offer offering, you shouldn't have any blemish in it, right? Or any ill-favoredness. It should be a whole offering that's well to do, because it's like, what's that look like? You going to the Lord and going, yeah, Lord, take this
This calf missing with one leg.
yeah, or got 3 eyes, like you can have this. Supposed to give your best unto the Lord, right? Not your scragglers, right? What's that tell the Most High? It tells the Most High, like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this, Lord. Here, you have it. Disrespect. Just imagine when the Most High sent Christ. Christ came back and he was ill-formed or lame, right? He said, yeah, this is my son in whom I offered or sacrificed for the children of Israel. Right? We know the law talks about, the priests, they have to be all together, right? They have to be whole, right? As far as their constitution. So, they feel some kind of way, right? The Most High says, this is my son, but, he's lame, and he's crookback or he's a dwarf, right? I'm gonna have him be the offering for the nation.
Give me those link ups for 20 again.
Deuteronomy 15 and 21. And also Deuteronomy 17 and 1. Sure. Verse 21. And whosoever offereth the sacrifice of peace offerings unto Yahweh to accomplish his vow, or a freewill offering in beeves or beef, cattle, or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. So once again, it should be perfect. There shall be no blemish therein. So for the peace offering, the link with the 22, chapter 22 and verse 21. You can just link up Leviticus chapter 3, verse 1, and also verse 6 deals with the peace offering. Leviticus chapter 3, verse 1 and verse 6. So let's continue. It says, verse 22, blind or broken or maimed or having a wen is like kind of like a boil, like a pus, like a boil full of pus, or scurvy or scared, ye should not offer these unto Yahweh to make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto Yahweh. So he got specific and said, yeah, any of these types of things. In case you're wondering, when I say perfect, you might say, hey, looks good to me. You try to, you have something you're trying to give to somebody, right? It could be something that's alive, something that's not living, some kind of possession. It's got some kind of scratch or nick or something wrong. You might try to cover it up instead of trying to, fix that thing, or just be honest about it. Look, it's got some wear and tear, like a car, it's got some wear and tear, but I did take care of this, I took care of that. Or you did have this and I changed it before I decided to sell it. I made the repairs. You're trying to cover it up, like, that's a bad look. We'll find out and they go, oh, this thing has the original engine in it. You didn't do any engine work on it. You didn't replace any of the, you didn't replace the radiator. Look at this thing, Look at these lights that are coming on the dashboard. You want to sell me this, right? Because we don't deal with the cattle that much anymore. Try to make a comparison. Yeah, well, right now the AC don't work. We need that right now, right? So yeah, to link with the 22 and 22, Malachi chapter 1, which Malachi, a lot of it is directed towards the priests falling away. You read the history of what was going on. Priests needed correction. They were supposed to be we're reading that example of holiness. Malachi 1 and 8. And if you offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if you offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person? said Yahweh of hosts. Right? See, when you read above, he's going into how is it now? You know, to as a servant, you want to show respect to the master, honor the master. As a son, you want to show respect to the father. If I be your father, if I be your master, right? You know, where's my honor? So how are you going to go and offer these lame things unto me? Just a reminder of what was said before. Priests weren't doing it. That's your hand? No. Okay. So reading on in Leviticus 22. Malachi 1 and 8, you can link with 22 and 22 of Leviticus. Reading on to 23. So Leviticus chapter 22, verse 23. Either a bullock or a lamb that have anything superfluous or more than necessary, right, extra, or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a freewill offering, but for a vow it should not be accepted. Right? So for a freewill offering, you could put it up, but for a vow, it should not be put up. The different offerings used for different things, and there's different conditions, right? Whereas a vow is dealing more so with like a debt that's owed, or something that you need to atone for, or expiation, fancy word, but it means the same thing. Whereas free will offering is more like for communing or communion with the Lord, like similar to like a peace offering, right? As a means of showing like a appreciation. As far as things owed, you want to make sure it's intact, because that's your life. And, the Most High, he owns your life, so he wants to make sure you take it seriously. 24, ye shall not offer unto Yahweh that which is bruised or crushed or broken or cut, neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land. Verse 25, neither from a stranger's hand shall ye offer the bread of your power of any of these, because their corruption is in them, and blemishes be in them. They shall not be accepted for you. So this is kind of heavy verse, easy to kind of look past. But this is kind of going into when we talk about, not just on the outside, but on the inside, right? We know corruption, we can see it on the outside. Okay, something's not right. But inner corruption, to take note of that, it requires, understanding. See how someone speaks, see how someone dresses or carries himself. But now it's talking about the stranger that what? Even with something that they offer, because of how they are, as far as the corruption that's in them, it's looking at it like as if what they're offering isn't going to be accepted, even if what they actually are offering is whole, because they themselves are not whole in their mind. It's like it's not going to be received. So just picture when Israel, our people, and the priest, of course, if they themselves are following the ways of the heathen, the ways of the stranger, anytime they would bring their offering to the Lord, the Most High would say, I hate, I despise your feast days, or bring me no more vain oblations. Incense is abomination unto me, right? These verses we read. We get some sense now based on this law, like, wow, okay. While we're going through the motions of giving the Most High something that's whole or together, he expects us, first and foremost, as his people, to be whole and wholesome, right? What good is it we're offering something whole unto him, but us ourselves in our mind, we're not whole, right? Our minds are corrupt, right? Our minds are like that lame land that has a short leg or a missing eye, or a growth. Now this becomes us in our spirit when we don't follow him. So how much more for a stranger who clearly, like the scripture says, the gods of the nations are idols. So a stranger offering idols, but then wants to come and give something unto the Lord. How can that work? It's interesting, this verse pointing that out. For verse 25, you link it with Leviticus chapter 3. Leviticus chapter 3. chapter deals with the peace offerings again. Leviticus chapter 3 and verse 11. As far as the food offered upon the altar, or rather, it's food unto the Lord, but it's to be burned upon the upon the altar it's supposed to be the peace offering. Leviticus 3:11, it says, "And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto Yahweh." And then also verse 16 as well. Then also with that verse 25, you can link it with Malachi again, chapter 1, this time verse 14. Malachi 1 and 14, which reads, it says, "But cursed be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male, and voweth, and sacrifices unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith Yahweh of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen." See that? So don't come and offer something, but you yourself being a deceiver, you yourself being corrupt inside, right? It's like your offer becomes invalidated because of the spirit you came in, right? So don't even bring it to me. You know, he puts it out there if we didn't know already. His name is dreadful amongst the heathen, right? Time goes by, you forget about the Most High, but they'll remember. They'll be reminded very soon. They already are being reminded. They're going to know directly, oh, this is who that God is. Right now, they just may know suffering. They may have their own conclusions as far as why they suffer. So yeah, don't be trying to offer something whole, but you yourself are not whole. So, you know, that's very important. It should be something that, you know, motivates us to be on our best when we come together to keep the Most High's holy days. Let it be a reminder that every holy day that comes, that we better ourselves in between holy days, so that we are considered that righteous sacrifice before Him. That's why you see that metaphor used throughout the scriptures, Old and New Testament, right? Present yourselves a living sacrifice, everything that goes with it. So reading back to Leviticus 22, read on in 26, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying," 27, "When a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam. From the 8th day and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto Yahweh," right? So if we talk about other laws, supposed to be of a certain age before you offer it, right? And it's be freshly born. The link with 27, you could link Exodus 22 and verse 30. Exodus 22 and 30. It says, "Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it me." It's kind of like when we had the male children, right? Circumcised on the 8th day, right? So the child's alive for a week, and after that 8th day, then you circumcise the child. You see the similarity there when it comes to that firstborn. So once again, verse 27, "When a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam or the mother. And the 8th day and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. 28. And whether it be cow or ewe, ye shall not kill it and her young both in one day. Right? So remember we read this before too. We even read about this when it comes to the birds, because you don't want it to destroy that entire generation, right? You want to have at least one that still remain, so that when time come again for that mating season to come back around, you can bear that you can bear another one in that following generation. So even the law teaches wisdom as far as how not to destroy animals, destroy entire species. We see it even here mentioned in the law itself. It's implied. Even with birds, it says the same thing. When we eat birds that are lawful to eat, of course, not not scavenger birds, or the birds that are listed in the dietary law that are unclean. But you can just link verse 28 to link it with Deuteronomy 22, verse 6, and also verse 7. Deuteronomy 22, 6 and 7, where it says, if a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, that thou mayest prolong thy days. So part of the law as far as not taking the mother and the young bird, right? Just the young bird, because we know when the next time comes around for that bird to mate, there'll be another one to eat. As opposed to you take the both, you keep doing that, now you don't see those types of birds anymore. Right now you starved yourself because you killed off a species of animal, a species of bird. So yeah, the law even deals with how to not endanger species, as well as we read before and previously in Leviticus, deforestation, had not to destroy the trees that provide food. The law goes into not using them for like building, either things for war, right? Like an engine of war, like building something for a house. It says, don't cut down the trees useful for food. Only trees that aren't used for food. Common sense, but the most I put it out there, it's like, don't destroy your own life, right? You survive off of the food that comes off the trees, right? Don't cut those down and use those for, engines of war or for construction. Use the trees that don't provide the nourishment. Even when we look at the temple, Most High made a deal with the king of Tyre for his cedar trees, right? Nice, tall, strong wood. Not trees for food, but clearly trees that you could use for building, right? Like a building. As he used that cedar for building the temple. Yeah, that's covered in the law. So back to Leviticus 22, verse 29. When ye will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto Yahweh, offer it at your own will. So you can link this free will offering, 22 and 29. You can just link it back to Leviticus chapter 7. Leviticus chapter 7 and verse 12. Leviticus 7 and 12, it says, if he offer it for thanksgiving, and he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cakes mingled with oil, a fine flour fried, and then it goes into more detail. We're just going into the sacrifice for thanksgiving, or it's also known as a peace offering, right? So in that chapter recaps going into the peace offerings, why you will offer those and what they would entail. So it's making mention of it here too. Verse 30, on the same day it shall be eaten up. Ye shall leave none of it tomorrow until the morning. I am Yahweh. So for the peace offering not to remain until the morning. It's also in Leviticus chapter 7. But that's in verse, you can just write down verse 15. So with 22 and 30 of Leviticus, link Leviticus chapter 7 and verse 15. Once again, Leviticus 27 and 13. Sorry, Leviticus chapter 7 and verse 15 to link with 22 and 30. Once again, Leviticus 22 and 30 link Leviticus 7 and 15. So I got the numbers mixed up. So Leviticus chapter 7 and 15. And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning. Somewhat reminiscent of the Passover sacrifice, right? You don't leave it around for too long. You want to eat it soon, after it's prepared. So Leviticus 22 and 31, therefore shall you keep my statutes and do them. I am Yahweh. Then it says, so for verse 31, about keeping the Most High statutes. You can link it, we already read it, but Leviticus 1937. So Leviticus 22 and 31, link Leviticus 1937. Also, Numbers chapter 15 and verse 40. Numbers chapter 15 and verse 40 as well. Which is a commandment itself to keep the commandments. In 32, it says, neither shall ye profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am Yahweh, which hallow you. Or to hallow just means to make one holy, right? Which we always say when we do the Lord's Prayer, right? So the link with 32, profane the Most High's name, you just link up Leviticus 21, verse 6. Also Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 8. And another one. This is for 22 and 32. About profaning the Most High's name. Sure. Leviticus 21 and 6. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 8. And Leviticus 18 and 21. Finally, in 33, that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your power, I am Yahweh. So, of course, that's the history. Us being delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. Okay, so we come to the end of 22. We'll take a break. Feel free to get something to eat. Obviously, something that doesn't require heat. And we'll reconvene in about a half hour's time, around 2 o'clock, and finish the service. Shalom, and we'll see you around 2.